Be sure to keep the grading criteria in mind as you are working on your Thaumatrope. So remember, the goal is to have your images combine into one, your two images combine into one to show the persistence of vision. We also want to make sure that we're outlining our design in the thin marker to create contrast and show the edges of our design. We want to make sure we have an original idea, so it should relate to your interests. And we want to make sure the two sides of our design relate to each other. The details should be drawn large enough that we can see them, and it should fill more positive than negative space, so there shouldn't be a ton of empty space. We want to make sure that we're thinking about how the images are placed so that it considers what's on the opposite side in order for the images to combine correctly when they are spun. And then we want to make sure we have smooth edges when we cut out our cardboard and paper, and we want to make sure it's neatly colored and neatly outlined. When I started my final Thaumatrope design, I took and drew my third and final image, the one that has both sides combined into one image, to use as a template to trace for the two sides. So I started by drawing the golden snitch, and then I drew the book, and then I added the Harry Potter logo, and I made sure that I liked the placement of everything first in order to make sure the spacing and the size was all correct before I moved to my final copy of each individual side. In order to be able to easily see it on the light box, once I was happy with my design, I went ahead and took a thin Sharpie and traced over the lines to make it easy to see. Next, I took my eraser and I erased any of the pencil lines that I no longer needed. Next, I would cut out this image and tape it onto the light box, and then I would take my extra circles that I have and place one and trace the part of the drawing that belongs on that first side. Then I would slide my paper over and I would only draw the part that I would need on the second side. So in one circle I drew the HP and the golden snitch, in the other circle I drew the book. Once I have both of my designs traced, then I am going to take a very thin Sharpie and retrace over my pencil lines with the Sharpie. This helps to create contrast and make it easier to see our details and designs when the Thaumatrope is in motion. After both designs are outlined in Sharpie, then I take my eraser and erase any pencil lines that I no longer need. This helps to make my design look nice and neat. And then I need to add color to my design. So for my example, I decided to use colored pencils. I pressed very firmly to make my color look really solid. Please take your time, stay in the lines, make it look nice and neat. You may also work with marker to fill in the areas of your design as well. Keep in mind, if you have a lot of small details, the colored pencil might get into those smaller areas more easily. I did a little bit of shading with my colored pencils to create some depth and dimension in the pages, and then I went ahead and colored the next side of my design. I decided to layer both gold and yellow together in order to brighten the logo design on the Harry Potter side.